We started our process of digestion and we have completed the first part of our digestion, and we have seen what happened to our food in mouth, then how it passes on from mouth to stomach to esophagus, and what happened to the food in stomach. It is acted upon by gastric juice, it is acted upon by HCl, it is acted upon by renin, it is acted upon by pepsin, and they convert the food into its respective constituents. And so, students, let's today go ahead and see what happened after passing the food from stomach to duodenum. And in this way, we are today making the second part of our digestive process. So, in the second part of our digestion, we are here seeing that the half digested food, which is now known as chyme, it now pass on to duodenum, which is the first part of small intestines, starting part of small intestines from the pylori part of stomach periodically. So, what happened to the food in the duodenum? Duodenum actually receives two secretions through a common duct, and that duct is hepatopancreatic duct. One secretion comes from liver, and the secretion is bile, and the second secretion comes from pancreas, and which is pancreatic juice. And what is the function of bile? Bile simply emulsifies the fat, that is, it converts the fatty molecules into simpler one, that is the emulsification. So the function of bile is that it emulsifies the fats and convert it into small macelles, into small particles. And the function of pancreatic juice is that it contains trypsin, it contains chemotrypsin. These are the enzymes which are being contained by pancreatic juice, and these enzymes, whether it is trypsin or chemotrypsin, they convert proteins into peptones. Peptones are the simpler forms of proteins so that they may get absorbed later on. So in duodenum, the half digested food, which is known as chyme, it is acted upon by two secretions, one bile coming from liver and second pancreatic juice coming from pancreas through a common bile hepatopancreatic duct. And the bile, it simply emulsifies the fats and convert it into simpler particles, and the enzymes contained by pancreatic juice, they are trypsin, chemotrypsin, they simply convert the proteins into peptones. So this was the digestion in duodenum. Now the food, after being digested in duodenum, pass on to other parts of small intestines, that is jejunum and ileum. So in the further parts of small intestines, there are the small finger-like projections at the inner side, at the inner surface of small intestines, which are known as villi. Here the finally digested food which got digested from in duodenum, in stomach, in mouth, and now in jejunum and ileum parts of our small intestines, and now this finally digested food, it is being absorbed by our these finger-like projections which are known as villi, and finally they transfer on to the bloodstream through the small blood arteries by the process of diffusion. And in this way, our finally digested food, which contains a lot of nutrients, micronutrients, macronutrients, vitamins, proteins, fats, after the proper digestive process, after the proper digestions at different stages, whether in mouth, whether in stomach, then in duodenum, and after that in ileum, jejunum, ileum, and finally this finally digested food is being absorbed by our villi, by our small finger-like projection known as villi, so that it may get absorbed into our bloodstream through arteries by the process of diffusion. And now what happened to undigested food? The digested, finely digested food is absorbed into in our this bloodstream, so that the nutrients may get absorbed by our body. And what happened to the undigested food? The undigested food simply move to the large intestines. And you must remember here that in large intestines, further absorption of minerals, water, and drugs take place. So you have to keep in mind here that the absorption of minerals, water, drugs, etc., that take place only in large intestines and not in the small intestines. And the absorption of finely digested food containing different nutrients, that is being absorbed in small intestines. And this is the major difference, rather an important point you have to memorize, you have to keep in your mind. So after the absorption of minerals, water, and drugs by our large intestines, the undigested food in the form of feces now move towards cecum, and which is finally stored in the rectum part of large intestines. And the rectum part, or the rectum canal, it stores the undigested food in the form of feces till defecation. And in this way our this digestive process gets completed from our mouth, then to stomach, then to duodenum, then to jejunum, then to ileum, then to large intestines, and further the undigested food then move to cecum and then to rectum canal. And finally at defecation time, the undigested food is being given out in the form of feces. And in this way we completed our digestive process, and this class was for class 11th. Hope the students you must have enjoyed this class. For any clarification, please do SMS me or call me. Thank you for being with me. Have a good day.